how can you focus on learning one module, then go ahead to the next one, and so on. Right, so let's take a practical example. Let's say you wanna learn the socket module for network programming. So socket allows you to create network components and actually have them communicate between one another. If you know the basic syntax in Python, and if you know like the concepts of Python, learning what a module can do could actually be pretty easy. What I would recommend is to get a hold of all the functions and modalities that that module is able to do. So for example, if you have the socket module and you import it in Python, let me quickly turn on the screen here live and then disable this, and let me show you what I'm talking about. So pay attention. So for example, we are in Python, let's go Python 3, and let's import the socket module, for example. Okay, so you want to learn the socket module and you want to learn network programming. Like I said, what you would want to do is to know all the methods that the socket module is capable of doing, and then try to work with them. So for example, since I've imported socket, I also have a library that allows me to hit the tab and actually look into everything that the socket is capable of, I mean in terms of methods and functions. So for example, if we have socket.close, I could simply look into socket.close, what socket.close is doing with the help function in Python, and it tells me that it's a built-in function, closes an integer socket file descriptor. So that's what this method does, socket.close, and of course you have a whole lot of them in here. So for example, if I import OS and then I do OS and then tab, it tells me everything that OS is capable of, and actually this gives me a lot of options to work with.
Fellas, check out my Python Basics course to learn the fundamentals of Python you need in cybersecurity. There's a discount link in the description.
So yeah, I guess that's part of the answer. What you would do even to accelerate the things even faster, besides learning all these methods, not necessarily all of them, but I would actually take or I would actually think of a practical project and start working on that project using mainly the module that I want to learn about, or the package that I want to learn about in Python. And you could start in terms of documentation. Socket is part of the standard Python library, and you would want to go to python.org or com, I think it's .org, and you would want to look into the documentation, into the official documentation, and into the socket module, and maybe look for some examples over there. Or you could look into what other people have built with the socket module in this case. If you think of it, for some Python modules there have been entire books written on, like for example pandas and matplotlib, which are used in data science. There are books written for pandas. So for a simple module, if the module that you're talking about is something that's used at very large scale, there's a high likelihood that someone has probably written a book about it. So make sure to look that up. Now, I've told you that I can access these functionalities by these methods by using the dot and then hitting the tab. So you are not able to do that, from what I know, with the default installation in Python. And to actually make that work, so let me exit Python. You would have to pip install readline, I guess, and that should actually make that tab auto completion work.